Hi, everyone. I'm Frank Malakote. I'm an anchor and a reporter for KTVU's Fox 2 here in the San Francisco Bay Area. My guest is the executive director of the Oakland Indie Alliance, a community of 400 plus independent businesses in the greater Oakland area. They are united preserving the social fabric of the city and hoping to push a little success on all the businesses there as well. There is strength in many. Let's say hi to Ari Takata Vasquez. Good morning, good afternoon. How are you, Ari?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me here.
Well, it's good to have you. First and foremost, so our viewers get a bigger picture, tell us about the Alliance, the Indie Alliance in Oakland.
We're a nonprofit group. We're actually the only member-led and operated group for small business, for small independent businesses. So everyone who's on our board, including all of our leadership, they're small business owners themselves. So we provide people essentially marketing to encourage people to shop locally. We're also providing emotional support for one another and a lot of camaraderie, and then also sharing resources and best practices, which is more important now than ever.
I bet. And these are all kinds of businesses, from restaurants and bars and gyms. I know you ran a clothing, jewelry store, something like that.
Yeah, exactly, Viscera. Yeah, we have all kinds of members. We have laundromats, we have acupuncturists, bars, restaurants, basically everyone who makes up your day-to-day interactions with enjoying a city are probably some of our members.
I bet it's been a great self-help group too, to lean on one another after the pandemic struck a couple of months back. What's it been like, you as a business, and having this strength in numbers, so to speak?
I think it's been really key for us to be able to lean on one another. There's been so much confusion around the PPP loans, the EIDL loans, figuring out how to deal with unemployment, employees. We've been able to share information across the group. We're very transparent about where we find information and where we find opportunities. So on multiple times a week, I'm sending out an update email with new grants that people can apply for, more information on where they can get funding. It's been moving at a pretty quick pace. Things are shifting rapidly. So that's been a little bit of a challenge for us to keep on top of as an organization. But it's also been really nice in some ways to know that even in middle of a crisis, we all have one another, and we luckily have the tools to be able to still communicate and share emotional support. I know some people are even offering up like meditation for the group, just doing whatever they can to support one another.
And has membership grown since the pandemic? Just, oh my goodness, you got to join our indie group. We offer all these services and support.
Absolutely. It's, we've known that it's really important for small businesses to have a network of other small businesses to rely on, to relate to. But in times of crisis, we've seen our group grow pretty tremendously. I think at the beginning of this, we were closer to 300, and now we're pushing 400 and getting new membership applications every day. We are a free membership group. And so we tried to actually, build a big umbrella to actually support all of the small businesses in Oakland.
Yeah, and you've been innovative as well. There's a thing called virtual Main Street. People can't go into stores and restaurants, but I was looking at it, and it's pretty cool. You can kind of take a walk as you go down your screen and see some of the businesses that are reaching out.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of the first initiatives that we put out as soon as some of the coronavirus stuff started to hit our small businesses and people saw their sales drop. We realized that our community in Oakland here wants to support us, but there's so many different businesses and they don't always know where to turn to. They don't know who's doing an Indiegogo, who's offering gift certificates, who's ordering caviar. So we put it all into one place so you can find your favorite local independent businesses and support them from home.
Can you give us an example of other businesses helping other businesses through the Indie Group?
Yeah, it's actually been really, we've always operated this way, even, in non-emergency times. But there are some folks who are caterers who, basically their businesses have been decimated, but they've been able to kind of come to the rescue for other restaurant groups who maybe, their baker is no longer operating, or they need extra commercial kitchen space to work with Feed the Bay. All of these different initiatives where we're sharing resources and we're even referring, folks who had to get laid off, giving them new opportunities to find employment.
What businesses have been hit the hardest? I would think restaurants, right?
It's actually, it's hard to say because we all are so interconnected in terms of how we operate as a small independent ecosystem. Restaurants are definitely hit pretty hard because they already are operating on such slim margins on a day-to-day basis. But I'd say retailers are also not getting a whole lot of relief. There hasn't been any Feed the Line or World Central Kitchen for retail businesses. And so they're really just not able to do anything as sort of non-essential businesses. It's even been really difficult for our wellness folks. So people who do massage or acupuncture, they can't go online and give a virtual massage.
Right.
So it's been hard across the board, I think.
Can you talk about Oakland for those, because this will go out over the country, that may not know the city well, but it's a melting pot of humanity, different ethnicities, dozens, if not hundreds of languages spoken. And that's what makes it so wonderful. And so I imagine these businesses are everything under the world, the umbrella.
Yeah, we're a pretty unique group, pretty eclectic. Oakland has always been a place that's banded together, and we're very scrappy about our solutions. So we've gone through these sort of ups and downs before. So I think in some ways we're well positioned to deal with these impacts. But yeah, we have members who speak all different languages. I'd say within our group, we probably have a dozen of them. We are a group of immigrant businesses. We've partnered with lots of different nonprofits. We're really a reflection of what Oakland looks like as a group.
And were a lot of these businesses able to get the short-term loans, the forgettable loans? Has that been really difficult for some and not for others?
I think it's been, I know that some of our members have received PPP loans and EIDL loans, but the scope of the recovery effort has actually changed pretty drastically from the first week where it was announced. Initially the PPP loan was going to be $10K, a lot less, work that they had to do to put their books together. It was going to be done in 3 to 5 days. What we actually found is that you were only given $1,000 per employee that you had prior to COVID. And the turnaround time has been weeks, not days. So we have gotten some relief for our members, but across the board, it's not, even the people who have received it haven't gotten enough.
Do the businesses and do people talk about what lies ahead? How our new world's going to be? Restaurants going to be different. How you go in and shop for clothes, just about everything.
Yeah, we've definitely been strategizing of what a post-COVID world will look like. For a lot of us with brick and mortar shops, the overhead doesn't always seem worth it if we're providing most of our revenue through apps or deliveries. So I know that that's been a big consideration for folks, as maybe they don't need to have as big of a footprint as they once did. But one innovative thing that we've been pushing with the City of Oakland and the Department of Transportation is to figure out how we can use our outdoor space to accommodate a smaller interior footprint. For example, people whose restaurants will now be cut into 50% of the capacity that they could once have, potentially could have outdoor cafe seating. They could have a parklet, take over a portion of the parking and sidewalk to be able to accommodate more people. So we're finding really innovative ways to work with the city and actually find solutions for this. I
imagine one of the discussions was, how do we approach our landlord and maybe get a bit of a break after 2 months of no business? Have you gotten any feedback on that? Have the landlords in Oakland been somewhat understandable?
Yeah, I think so. Where we've positioned ourselves as a group is that we need to understand that landlords don't come in one shape or size. Some of them are mom and pops just like us, and some of them have national portfolios. So it's not really a one size fits all approach that we can ask for. But what we've been encouraging our members to do is actually, send a letter to their landlord saying, we're doing everything that we can. We're applying for all the loans that we can. Can you work with us? Whether it's abatement or deferral, we want to work together, and we're all kind of in the same boat, because unfortunately what we're hearing from our landlords is that they aren't getting any relief from their banks, meaning that they can't release any of their obligations. By their contracts, they have to continue to ask us for rent. So if we can work with our landlords to try to get some relief from the banks, we all win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you hopeful What lies ahead in the city of Oakland in this new world?
Hopeful is a funny word to use in a time like now.
True.
But I do see some silver linings coming from this situation. Small businesses weren't doing well in the Bay Area before COVID. And a lot of the things that made us vulnerable are now being brought to light by this crisis. So we've been having difficulties with rising rental rates. We've been having difficulties with keeping and hiring staff. The increased cost of living has been a challenge for years now. And I think small businesses have been sounding the alarm, but haven't necessarily gotten the attention that it needed. So with this crisis, I think we're seeing how much small businesses are a core part of our day-to-day lives. We really are a public utility where how you buy everything that you need to consume to live. We feed you. We give you that friendly conversation when you stop by for your coffee. We are really core to day-to-day life. And I think this crisis has brought to light how essential we are.
Do you think some businesses will go virtual, will go online? I know, brick and mortar, especially if you're in commercial real estate, I think a lot of us are adapting. I mean, at KTVU, here we are, most of our staff is working from home. Who knew we could do this? I'm talking to you through Zoom. I would imagine there's going to be a lot of changes in business plans down the road, including right there in Oakland.
Absolutely. I think we all have tried to take a good look at our resiliency plan. And I think going virtual is going to be a component of it. But ultimately, I don't think we can live in a world where, we're sitting at home, everything gets delivered, and we're just living our lives virtually. I think there is always going to be something really essential to our human needs to see other people and be in proximity to them. So I don't think that brick and mortar is going away. I think it's shifting. So it needs to be part of a multi-pronged approach to running a small business, but I don't think brick and mortar is going to fully go away anytime soon.
And how busy are you? If you're the executive director and you've got over 400 plus businesses, 100 new that have jumped on board since the pandemic, I mean, can you catch your breath, or are you constantly putting out fires? Oh, I can put you in touch with this person. You need help there.
It's definitely been a challenge because, nobody comes into a role and gets a handbook for how to deal with a pandemic. So I actually started this role at the beginning of March. So it's been an interesting introduction to being the executive director for Oakland Indie Alliance.
By the way.
Well, I'm so glad to be here, though, to be able to provide support. But yeah, it definitely has been a challenge in terms of, just growing capacity as an organization and, as a small business owner, and I also consult with the Renaissance Center to work with other entrepreneurs. So my world really is small business. And so this is why I get so passionate about trying to save as many as possible, because we are really what makes a neighborhood, we're what makes a city.
And on a personal note, what have you learned about mankind? I imagine a lot of folks have said, let me help you. What can we do?
Yeah, I think ultimately people at their core want to help. It was incredible to see, as an organization within the first week or two, people kind of coming out of the woodwork saying, I imagine that small businesses are getting hit really hard. What can we do to help? So we've actually even built a volunteer directory where, people like graphic designers, web designers, photographers, they can volunteer their time for small business to be able to help them pivot and transition into a digital world, which has been key because there's such a huge tech divide between communities and as far as like access and capacity. And so it's been really heartening in some ways to see how empathetic our community is, and knowing that Oakland has always relied on Oakland is also a really nice thing to kind of fall back on. We've rarely been well resourced, but we've always been creative, and so it's nice to know that.
All right. And if people want to get in touch, I don't know if you need more members, but you might get some more. But if they want to get in touch, perhaps they want to help. What do they need to do?
They can go to oaklandindiealliance.com. They can visit our virtual Main Street to help support our local businesses. They can also, if you're someone with skills that you want to volunteer, you can sign up to help out our small businesses. And if you want to partner, with relief efforts, you can also drop us a line there as well.
Anything you'd like to add, Ari?
I would just like to add that, we're still here. We love Oakland. We're all still as proud as ever to be Oaklanders. And I don't think this city would be what it is without our small business. So I'm excited to see how we can come out of the other side of this, maybe a little bruised and a little scratched up, but ultimately still whole.
Well, I think we're all ready for that. All ready for that. Ari Takata Vasquez with the Oakland Indie Alliance. Thank you very much, and all the best to you and all the businesses in the city of Oakland.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you as well. I'm Frank Malika with Fox here in the Bay Area. We'll send it back to you.